Good evening. My name is Taslim Ahmed, and I decided to introduce both myself and my association to the public using videos, explanatory videos. This is the first of those series. This is a video on our manifesto. Now, this manifesto doubles as both my manifesto, which is my long-term plans for Nigeria, which I'm going to try to pursue through the House of Representatives, through influencing policy, through influencing the executive, and through other members of our association. This is goals or ideals which we hope to live up to over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Not things that we expect that we can implement immediately. Now, of course, if we are in a position of power, in a position where we can actually implement those things quickly enough, of course, it means we can do a lot of these things faster. Now, our association is called the Nigeria Action Association. It is an association which was founded by Nigerians who have simply had enough. We are tired of sitting down idly by and watching these people who have ruled us for I think almost 60 years now, the same revolving door of people. We've decided to stand up and do something ourselves. Now, when I say we, I mean the general public, the 215 million Nigerians who are being ruled by the less than 1 million Nigerians who are disenfranchised, who can't afford to, who currently are having trouble buying food, having trouble paying their rent, having trouble even paying their school fees, and even if they do pay their school fees, having trouble getting jobs after they get out of school, who can't even live safely if they can finally pay their rent. They can't even live safely in their homes. They can't sleep even with the doors closed because they are afraid somebody is going to come and kidnap them, somebody is going to come and rob them. This is who we made this association for the people that have to live with Nigeria. Most of us, we can't afford to leave this country. We can't afford to go anywhere else. We don't have any other country, really. Some of us have, most of us have only ever known Nigeria and probably will only ever know Nigeria. And so, since we've decided to make our living here, and this is the only country we have, we've decided to stand up and try to fix it ourselves. Now, who are we? Of course, we are a small minority, but the people like us, we believe people like us who actually care about what's happening, who are heavily affected, in number more than 99% of this country, more than 200 million people. There is no way, if we decide that we've had enough, all we have to do is stand up and change all of this. And we don't need to change this through violence. We don't need to change it through social media. It only takes one act of civil obedience, which is the vote. You simply walk into the polling booth and you vote for who you think is right or who you think will look after your own interests. Now, this is a presentation of my manifesto. Again, the Nigerian Action Association. We decided to found it. We had really one mission in mind. Our mission was to bring about a safe, fair, and prosperous society. A safe country, meaning, a country where you don't have to worry for your personal safety, but also the safety of your property. Of course, a fair society, meaning a just one where there's justice and law and order, meaning people are punished when they do wrong, when they steal from the government. People are severely punished if they commit violent crimes. People are also rewarded fairly for things that they do that are good. That is a meritocratic society, one where the best person for the job gets what he deserves. Not one ruled by nepotism, where your uncle is so and so and so, and so you get this contract, or so you get the job in the civil service, or you have to pay for jobs in the NNPC. Less than 1 million of us, of the 260 million odd people in this country, can afford to pay for any of those things. And then when we have those people that are not good enough to be getting there, don't deserve to be there, making those decisions for us, they are going to make bad decisions, which is going to lead us to exactly where we are today as a country. And then a prosperous society is one where our economy is doing well, where there's no inflation, meaning the price of goods is not too high, we can afford to buy things, where there's a lot of business happening, a lot of economic activity, so all of us can share, if not equally, at least equitably, based on our contribution to society. We can share in the wealth of this country, thereby, increase our general income levels. This can only be done if we have, we can only share. A pie can only be shared based on how much of the pie is there. If you have a pie big enough for 6 people, if you are going to share among 12 people, everybody is going to get a lot smaller share of that pie. Now, if you have to share it by 24 people, it will not be enough for any single person at the end of the day. Now, we have a small pie that is being, and then more than half of it is being eaten by less than 1 million people. Meanwhile, the main 2.5 million of 200 million of us have to share, what is less than half of it. So we need to build a prosperous society, one where people can get jobs, one where people's businesses can run well, one where we can all share in the national income, as it improves. Now, this is our mission. Of course, we also have a few objectives, things we want to achieve with this association. This association, which we hope will become a movement of sorts, a movement that doesn't have boundaries within a party, where you don't have to be a member of any party particularly to participate in this, where you could be a politician or a businessman or an employee of a company, where you could be literally anybody at all and simply decide to join. Our dream, of course, is to motivate people to stand up and then make those decisions within wherever it is that they are able to make those decisions, whether it is through the public sector or the private sector. We have a few objectives, of course, concrete objectives. That is, I guess it explains our own ideology, our own version of how we see society. Now, among those are, first of all, we wish to, 1, ensure the freedom, security, and well-being of Nigerians through active representation. I'll explain a lot further on how we intend to do that. I guess number 2 is we want to encourage a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society. What does that mean? That means a secular country, a country where the government is not pro any religion at all, where decisions are made simply based on what is best for the group of people, where it doesn't matter if you are from the north or the south or the east or the west. That's the only way to build a harmonious society. It's the only way to move forward as a society. We want then to build a strong and prosperous economy. Now, we have some ideas on, I think it's been since 1966, in fact, as far back as 1957, when our first elections took place. Since then, we've had basically poor economic policy run this country, very poor economic thinking. That is a vestige of the British. This is kind of what they left us, the ideology they left us at that point in time, but that is a story for another day. Now, we have to change the method of thinking on the economy, on how an economy is supposed to be run, on how a country is supposed to be built. And of course, I detail a lot of those plans within my speech. For we want to build a fair and just society. As I explained earlier, what that means is meritocracy, which means the best person for the job, no favoritism, no nepotism, and then it also means law and order, meaning crime gets punished, meaning good deeds get rewarded, at least within the scope of the government. Then number 5, we want to encourage a government that produces a safety net for the lowest in society, meaning for the people that have simply been unfortunate by their circumstance in life. The government shouldn't simply abandon them. We want to build a society where you can have a safety net for those people that are left behind. And then, of course, we don't just hold them and try to keep them. We try to assist them in, moving forward as well. And finally, We want to encourage the development of a clean government, a clean and able government, one that is free of corruption and one that has the ablest man for each job and the ablest woman for each job. Well, the reason for this is whatever our goals and dreams may be, it is people that are going to drive those goals and dreams. If the people that you choose happen to be corrupt, happen to be weak or lacking in ability, they're not going to lead us anywhere at all. Their performance is simply going to be woeful. Now, we don't think, of course, we don't think that this is a journey that is going to take us a day or a month or a year or an election term. Things are really bad. Things are very, very bad. Our economy is in a very terrible state. Prices of everything is rising. Our electrical grid is disintegrating. Our ability to, even our public housing is basically lacking, is becoming non-existent, and our population still keeps growing. The security of the country is completely compromised. There is no idea of safety. People are losing faith in the government completely. It's not possible to reverse all of this in one election cycle. It's not possible for a single member of the House of Representatives or even a president for that matter to make any of these changes. What is required is a team, a group of people with a common ideology, with a common goal, working together day after day to achieve these objectives. It requires the laying down of your lives for this. Now, of course, I don't think there's anybody doubts that any of the problems we mentioned exist. I think the only doubts are how to solve these problems. So I think this is the next part of my series, is simply going to explain our policies on these six, how we intend to bring about those 6 objectives I mentioned. Thank you for listening.